Hey guys, so this is going to be a bit of a different type of video compared to what you normally see on my channel, where I'm usually talking about studies and some hard science-based stuff, current evidence-based practices when it comes to rehab. But this type of video is going to be shot more vlog style, and I plan on doing more of these in the future. So there's no script. I'm just going to be talking to the camera, and I'm going to leave it as unedited as possible. It's going to be all opinion-based on certain topics that I think would be interesting to talk about, and things that I really think I like talking about, and I think people would enjoy watching under the scope of this kind of the channel scope. So with regards to like fitness or rehab, whatever, just certain topics that I think would be interesting to put out into the ether. So with that being said, this first video I want to talk about something that I read in a book recently. So the book is called Spark, The Revolutionary New Science of Exercise in the Brain, and it's written by Dr. John Ratey. John Ratey is a clinical professor down in Harvard. He teaches psychiatry at the Harvard Medical School, and he also has tons of peer-reviewed studies, journals done, and he has tons of published books. If you don't know him or you haven't read anything by him, I recommend checking out some of his work. He's an excellent source of knowledge. So the book, the chapter that this particular quote that I read, and the reason why I started making this video, was actually on exercise and how to fix pregnancy. And the quote, I got my Kindle here, so I'll read it out verbatim. The quote was, "Many expectant mothers don't have a clear idea of what they can do, and they think in terms of avoiding rather than engaging." So that really stood out to me because I find that's true in a lot of aspects of life lately, especially in the rehab world. So, for example, I'm a massage therapist and strength coach, so I see people who are in pain all the time. So I'll give you an example. Someone comes in with lower back pain, and usually along with lower back pain, people usually have trouble picking things up off the ground or bending forward, certain actions. And they come in, and one of the first things they say to me is, I can't do X, or whatever X is, because my back will hurt. And I never really hear someone say, what can I do? They're always trying to avoid doing things when they're in pain, rather than engaging in activity, which is usually the best bet. And so, what I'll do as a strength coach and massage therapist, I'll introduce some massage, desensitize the area, make it less painful in the short term, and then introduce whether it's mobility drills, exercises, or just certain types of abdominal bracing. Anything that I can do to get people from a painful state to a less painful state, and then get them back to what they enjoy doing. And the reason why that's so powerful is because pain can be a strong teaching tool. It can teach you things for life. So if you have lower back pain and I show you some things on how you can get it better, or you learn it from somebody else, those are skills that you can have for the future. But usually what happens is people will come back after a certain amount of time and say, my back hurts, I want to get another massage. So I'll ask, have you done the drills that I showed you, the exercises, whatever? And more often than not, they say no. So what that tells me is that they aren't trying to engage in actually making themselves better. They're more interested in the passive treatments that will feel good in the short term, but they aren't interested in putting in any extra work. So it can be frustrating as a rehab professional trying to get someone better when it's all one-sided, right? If you're in pain, you should be trying to get yourself better as well. Personally, I've injured my back a couple of times, and I've spent hours doing stuff at home just trying to get better, trying out different things, seeing what works. Whether it's strengthening the hips, abs, lower back, legs, or practicing more abdominal bracing and hip hinging patterns and doing things like that until it calms down. All of those are skills that can serve you for life. If you get lower back pain, and I can show you some way that you can pick things up off the ground if that's a trigger for you, and you can do it relatively pain-free, then there you go. You can pick things up off the ground now. But if you don't practice it, you're not going to get better at it, and it's just going to stay the way it is. So we need to get out of this cycle of avoiding rather than engaging. We need to engage a lot more, and the body can handle a lot more than what people think. We're biological organisms. We're meant to adapt to our environment. And if we're not putting ourselves through something to adapt to, we're just going to remain the same. So another thing that I hear that people say is, I don't have time to get injured. Or, sorry, I don't have time to do the exercises or like the drills or whatever. I don't have time to do stuff at home. I only want to come see you. I would argue if you have time to be injured, then you definitely have time to put in the exercises, because what happens when we're injured, we can't do the same things we used to, so we take longer time doing it. Our work gets affected, so we can't sit down for long periods of time if that's a trigger. Usually it's a pretty common one. You can't spend time with your kids as much because you can't get down on the floor, play with them, do the stuff you used to. Your vacation starts to take a hit because travel becomes an issue, and you just, from there, your mental health starts to deteriorate. So all those things start to add up. We start to feel bad about our life and the way we are, and then even though you have the skills and the things that someone may have shown you to get out of that pain pattern, it's the hard work that's the struggle for people, and that's what it is. Rehab is not an easy thing. It can be simple, but it's not easy usually. There are ups and downs, left and rights. Sometimes you feel like you're spinning your wheels, but the general trend should be upwards. So stop thinking in short term, start thinking in long term, and really engage in physical activity. It really is a lifesaver. Do things now that will help you out in the future.